Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let me put White Pigeon clerk in the waiting room. We are live here on YouTube. I haven't turned the recording on yet. Autumn is here. The complainant is in the waiting room. Did you actually end up having a trial in Van
Yes,
Buren?
yes. Got one in. We did mine. Funny because the last trial we had was October of 2019, which was mine.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
got
Judge
ours
Stetson
in.
he's pushing to get some in there, but our numbers keep going up.
Yeah,
We're in
we
phase three. We're gonna have to probably move back to phase two.
we just moved back to phase two, and the week after my trials got canceled, and then I was supposed to start another one Tuesday that got canceled, and I have one supposed to start the 13th, and hoping to get word whether that's canceled or not soon.
Well, someday, if we live long enough, we'll be back to the way we
Totally
used
normal.
to do things.
Yep. I don't know if you know where the Lawton Community Center is.
Yes, I've been to some weddings there.
Yep, that's where we did the jury
Oh,
selection.
you did it in there?
Yep,
Downstairs or upstairs?
upstairs. So we had the jurors come in downstairs, and then upstairs we had, seat because we had 100 jurors in the array and had them, 6 feet apart, sitting out in the all across, spread out across the floor upstairs.
But it takes a lot of forethought to make something like that work. It's also expensive to get uh, Wi-Fi and recording and security and a
Amazing
location.
logistical
Yes.
efforts that the court went through to make that happen.
The defendant is not here yet. He was arraigned on this and he indicated he was going to retain Attorney Stewart, which he did. And then we haven't really done much since. Um, so I'm reluctant to go on the record very much until he gets here.
I just talked to him. I think he's all set to admit responsibility to this.
Okay, so we're not going to have.
No.
All right. Okay, good. Um, I will let you know, and I'm sure they're doing the same thing in Van Buren. Everything we do is live on YouTube using the Zoom platform. And so we try to be transparent about everything. Let me bring her in.
Oh, it looks like he's struggling here. Let me get the.
We have a lot of that. Good afternoon, Ms. Chapman. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, you're in the right spot. This is Judge Middleton. For the time being, I'm going to put you in the waiting room. We know you're here. We'll bring you back in as soon as Mr. Miller checks in, okay?
Okay.
Here he is. Whoops. Come back. All right, I think we've got everybody here that we need. This is the time and date for a probation violation hearing in the matter of Christopher C. Miller. The file number is 201446. Mr. Miller was originally charged with larceny from the person, malicious destruction of property over and under $200. He pled to the malicious destruction of property charges and was placed on a probation. He was originally represented by attorney Gary Stewart of Van Buren County, who is here with us today. Also present is Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Deborah Davis and probation agent Autumn Kiefer. Also, the original complaining witness, Jessica K. Chapman, is here on the feed as well. Autumn Kiefer is the probation agent, and she had brought to my attention some weeks ago that there were a number of postings that she refers to, and I don't disagree, as extremely vulgar and threatening. The vulgar part is clear, the threatening part maybe less so much. He was put on a probation, and a condition of probation he was not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior. We filed a probation violation petition alleging a violation of the probation. Mr. Miller pled not guilty to that, indicated he would be hiring Mr. Stewart. He was true to his word and did hire Mr. Stewart, but Mr. Stewart was not available because of a trial of some import that was being held in Van Buren County. So we had to continue this matter for hearing until Mr. Stewart was available for the hearing. That time and date is here this afternoon. Mr. Stewart, what's the status here?
The status is, Your Honor, that Mr. Miller will admit responsibility and plead guilty to the alleged violation. I've explained the recommendation to him, and he's acceptable with that.
Autumn, what is the recommendation?
The recommendation was that what was given to Mr. Miller at sentencing, which was 10 days of deferred.
And revoke the probation?
Correct. Should be noted that Mr. Miller has paid up through the 6-month mark. He did pay the remaining 6 months back on March 3rd. So as of today, he is up current.
Mr. Miller.
Yes, sir.
The allegation is that you violated the condition of probation by posting these messages. I'm going to be somewhat diplomatic about them, but I hadn't seen all of them. Autumn posted them earlier today, and you're certainly an angry person. You have a right to have a hearing on those allegations, and you have the right to have an attorney. You've retained an attorney. He's here with us, and he advises you're going to admit these violations. If we had a hearing, you'd have to be proven beyond a probable cause standard that you did violate the probation. Do you understand, by admitting the violations, you are giving up the right to have a hearing in that regard?
Yes, sir.
All right, now let me go back to the file. These were posted, I guess, in December and January, but you and Jessica share a son, is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Just the one child?
Yes, sir.
And his name is your middle name?
Correct.
Caston?
Correct.
How old is he?
He's 4.
And he lives with his mother?
Correct. We do 50-50.
you were obviously very angry and you posted all of these messages. What's your side of the story here?
It's we kind of go back and forth. Honestly, we don't get along. But in the last couple months, I have no contact with her whatsoever. She's pretty much close to my family, just so we don't have conflict. We have been getting along. I'm guilty. I sent the text. They're right there. I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't do it. It was inappropriate and childish. Yes, it was.
All right. What's your occupation?
I'm a mechanic, certified body technician. But I'm on medical leave right now because I've been in and out of the hospital every other month, if not more.
Okay. I don't do domestic relations work. I have a lot of respect for the judges that do. Judge Rob Pattison does almost all the domestic relations work here in St. Joe County. And when I was prosecutor, I would go into the fringes of domestic relations cases. And sometimes as judge, I get pulled in either as part of a landlord-tenant dispute or small claims dispute or dozens and hundreds of domestic violence complaints. So they're very difficult situations. My concern here is for this child. This cannot possibly be healthy for this 4-year-old boy to have you have that much hatred for his mother. I just can't see a happy outcome to that. It's scary.
We don't argue or say nothing to it in front of our child.
Yeah, your child's a lot smarter than you think. He knows exactly.
That's not true.
What?
That's not true.
All right, I'll give you a chance to speak in a minute. He knows everything. Kids are very intuitive, very...
Yes, I have 4 of them.
Yes. All right, Autumn, what's your recommendation? Is just to revoke the probation and do the deferred jail?
Yes, unfortunately at this point, I mean, he directly violated the orders of probation. And after the first email that I had received from the victim, I even called Mr. Miller and said, this is what I've received. I'm recommending that you cease any more contact and to go through third party. And then it occurred again. So I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, understanding that they do not get along. However, you can't continue to do that. That's direct violation. It's threatening to her. You know, she was told at sentencing to contact me if she had any issues, in which she did. So unfortunately, I mean, he's put himself in this position.
But he's willing to take his lumps and have us just get off his back.
That's correct.
He's paid everything. We won't have any control over this. It'll be back to being a domestic relations matter. Ms. Chapman, what's your thought here?
I don't agree with revoking the probation. It's just going to enable Chris to keep doing everything because he's going to be free from everybody controlling what he's doing at this point. Because you guys are going to let him off probation and we're going to be back to square one.
Well, he's on a probation. He's on a probation for malicious destruction of property. And it's somewhat unusual that I would put a condition like this in an MDOP case. So I don't want to be the arbiter of your divorce and custody and visitation. It's a custody, visitation, or PPO matter. I don't want to be the one that has to hit him on the head every time he sends you a nasty text.
In my defense, I have a lot of texts you sent me are nasty, but I haven't complained about it.
Please.
All right. All right. Mr. Stewart, you expressed your opinion at the outset here. Is there anything else you want me to know?
Nothing additional, Your Honor. I mean, I think that the court kind of hit the hammer on the head. I think this is a vulgar and childish and you know, something that shouldn't happen. I don't think he meant to threaten Ms. Chapman. But I think the recommendation is probably appropriate. I don't know that continuing him on probation is going to do anything. Like the court indicated, this is more of a family court issue, and hopefully eventually these folks can get along. It sounds like it's been better at least since January, and there hasn't been any issues since then. I think the recommendation's appropriate. I'd ask that the court maybe consider, I know Mr. Miller's having some significant health issues recently with the pancreatitis and is in and out of the hospital. If there was any way we could delay the imposition of that 10 days until that situation could get regulated, we'd appreciate it.
All right. Ms. Davis, anything further?
Yes, Your Honor. I reviewed everything and I saw Ms. Kiefer's report, and I certainly respect her opinion on the issue, but I also look at Ms. Chapman and the email that she sent 2 days after we were in court. So March 3rd, the defendant was here via Zoom for his arraignment, and there were these allegations, and Your Honor admonished him and Ms. Kiefer admonished him. And yet 2 days later, Ms. Chapman is sending an email with another hateful message. You know, the root of this malicious destruction was because of his anger and jealousy toward their relationship. So if the punishment to him is just, I get to continue being a jerk to her on probation and I get off probation and maybe have a few days in jail, that doesn't really fix the issue that we've had. I know it's kind of unusual to ask for, but I think some sort of an anger management component of his probation would maybe be appropriate. This isn't just simply got drunk and broke somebody's something. This was a targeted searching through her house, accusing her of having a man there, which he had no business being in her house, taking her phone from her, smashing it, throwing it alongside the road where they had to, use Find My iPhone to find it. This was related very much to the domestic relations case, and I've done them for many years. I get it. I see people that abuse the criminal justice system to get some sort of a perceived gain in their domestic case. I don't see Ms. Chapman as doing that. I think she honestly is fearful of what he is capable of doing. His anger has not subsided. He's only been on this probation. It looks like he pled back in October. So he barely got off of the starting block, and the issues that led to the malicious destruction of property, his anger, his jealousy, are still apparently present. So I would ask that the court consider giving him some term of jail for the direct violation of the probation and for doing it after being in court with all of us here and being told to stop doing it. He did it again. So perhaps the 10 days are appropriate for those instances, but I also believe that continuing his probation would be appropriate and requiring some sort of an anger management component. That being said, I know Your Honor brought up getting a personal protection order, but they're not very simple to do in these cases. She had one previously. It did expire. Even during that, he had a violation. So this is an ongoing issue, and in protecting our victim here, I'm asking that the court continue the probation. Thank you.
I don't know what the March 3rd one was. The date I'm looking at here, I'm just going to read it. We're going to in for a penny, in for a pound. You stupid cunt. I have medical issues. I'm not a liability. I did not take care of my kids, and I thought I want someone to take care of my kids, whether it's my father, my sister. I can. It's not up to you, you stupid bitch. I will get him back. Watch, on your mom's life. All the court knows, the general lying, conniving, worthless, backstabbing cunt. Keep fucking with me until I promise you will not turn out good for you in the future. This is the scary part. There's a difference between you and me. I'm not afraid of death. So go, bitch, and cry to my probation officer again, and I'll do my time, but I'll always get back out and finish what I started. So he's willing to do 10 days and then continue making her life miserable. At some point, I'll lose jurisdiction over him. I mean, I could give him a year in jail. And then when he gets out, I don't have jurisdiction anymore. The probation has not gone well, but he's willing to just take it, get out, blame you for it, and continue doing what he's doing. I'm going to order 10 days jail credit 0, leaving 10 days to serve, which will be scheduled by the probation department. Probation is not revoked. Probation is continued. We'll review it. I may consider distinguishing it. But what you might do is give you 10 days in jail, and then you can harass her with impunity.
Your Honor, in my defense, she was withholding my son from me.
Can I talk real quick?
Yes?
Okay, I was not holding our son. He was in the hospital because he has drugs and drinking problem, which gave him the acute pancreatitis. And then he wasn't mentally stable to take his children.
All right, stop.
You're a doctor now, huh?
Stop. That's just the kind of custody divorce stuff that makes it so difficult for the domestic relations judges. But Deborah, your suggestion for counseling is good, but he's way past anger management. He's got some serious deep-seated anger problems that are focused on the mother of his son. I don't know what to do, except I'm going to see if he can keep it together for a while before I get off his back, or I have the ability to do the balance of 365 days. I don't want to be the arbiter of your custody and visitation case, but in there you're talking about death. You're not afraid of death, she is. And after you do your time, you're going to go back to doing what you were doing and finish what you started. That's not good. So, Autumn, you're still on probation, Mr. Miller, until further order of this court. I would at some point, if you can keep it together, Mr. Stewart, accept a petition to terminate the probation. But for the time being, I don't want him to finish what he started. I want him to stop what he's doing. So Autumn will contact you and we'll schedule the jail
No,
time.
I'd like Mr. Miller to contact me immediately.
All right. You contact her this afternoon. I don't know when your next appointment is or what your circumstances is. This condition also contains a no alcohol and drug provision, does it not?
It does. So I guess you and I need to discuss the April 1st changes and if we are going to allow testing it, ordered testing again.
I don't know. We'll discuss that. The probation center is reopening effective tomorrow, the day reporting center. We haven't been ability to do much drug and alcohol testing, but he lives in Van Buren County. All I want you to do is get on with your life, raise your son, pay your child support, not make everybody any more miserable than they already have to be. You can hate your ex-wife, but keep it to yourself. You don't have to tell her every time you express any contact how much disregard you have for her. That just eats you up inside. Certainly doesn't do anything for her. So 10 days to be scheduled by the probation department. Probation is continued. Mr. Miller, you're good to go. I want you to immediately contact your probation agent.
Will do. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Ms. Chapman, you're good to go also.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gary, I'll see you next time, maybe sometime in the real world.
Okay, sounds good.
New legislation, I know you guys had a training over in Van Buren, changes the way probation orders are done and the ability to violate probation. Those will be in effect as of tomorrow. So the premise is to terminate probations early. So if he can keep it together, I would consider it, but let's hope he can.
Okay. Yeah, no
All
kidding.
right, thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good
Thank
one.
you, Your Honor. Take care.
Thank you, Deborah. You're willing to get in on the zoning hearings if you like, but
I'll just watch,
okay, I'll
secretly.
leave you.
Okay, I'm getting out of here. See you,
All
Judge.
right.